It's great to get the opportunity to go out and represent Ontario at the President's Cup, but we feel we left a little bit of unfinished business out there. Every team in this league is putting out a top-notch product.
It's not necessarily about what we do at the President's Cup or before that, it's about what we do here today. So when the playoffs come around and when that national championship comes around, we're ready to be the best in the country. Fell a little bit short of our ultimate goal, so I think guys are coming back in a little better shape and hungry. Hopefully we can kind of pick up where we left off.
Everybody are ready and primed to go. The process keeps on going. Our goal is to be back at the President's Cup.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you inside the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. You're looking at the Oakville Titans, who tonight open up their 2019 campaign, looking to defend their 2018 Ontario Senior Lacrosse Championship. That saw them go out and compete for a bronze medal, unfortunately coming in 4th place in the nation at last year's President's Cup. I'm Matthew Carrick for the JVI Sports Network, and this is the first game of our season-long coverage of Oakville Titans Lacrosse here on JVI Sports Network. Glad to have you along as we get set for what should be an exciting season here. And you can see in between the pipes, Craig Wendy getting the start tonight, the reigning league MVP, as well as the league top goaltender the last number of years. He'll be on a flight tomorrow morning to compete with the Georgia Swarm against the Toronto Rock in playoff action. A break for the Oakville Titans, getting that Monday playoff game. The Owen Sound North Stars are the competition tonight. And they'll counter with Ryan Oldrieve, number 42 in net for Owen Sound. And we'd like to welcome all of you who may be watching up north, the Owen Sound North Stars. There they are on their bench, coached by Phil Dempsey, Mark Kazarian, and Keith Peer. They'll be without Sean Lance, Matt McLeod, Jeff Ivey, Jack Francis, and Rob Clofer this evening. But we look for a pretty good, strong contingent from them here tonight. Kevin Werbeski and Blair Ferguson, your two officials. Again, the home opener tonight for the 2019 edition of the Oakville Titans. And it is Ontario Series Lacrosse action, the first time we're mentioning that name, as Senior B is formerly, the Ontario Senior B Lacrosse League. We had the player introductions, and now the opening ceremony. We'll send it downstairs.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
So the new Ontario Series Lacrosse Commissioner, Joe Hiltz, making his way onto the floor along with Gage Board, the captain of the Oakville Titans, as well as Tyler Gibbons, the captain of the North Stars. Again, we're at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center for Oakville Titans on Ontario Series Lacrosse, formerly the Ontario Senior B Loop. And not much senior about this. The oldest player on this Oakville roster, July 8th, 1991, Craig Wendy's birthday. Sorry to everybody watching at home. And nothing B about this league. It is top-notch competition, as we'll see here tonight. We'll pause for the anthems and be back with opening face-off from the Toronto Rock Athletic Center.
Not in the word that looks like he wants to touch. I'm afraid he's not national anthem and he's not going to look so.
Okay, false start, I guess, as there were some audio issues, some internet issues for us as well when we arrived here at the building today. Not our normal setup. We will preface today's action with that as well. If anything bad does happen, please be sure to stay tuned to this channel. Be sure you're subscribed, as we'll post the game in its entirety later on this week. Again, first game of what is going to be season-long home coverage of the Oakville Titans here on JVI Sports Network. Our thanks to President Josh Briscoe and head coach Frank Lachowski, his staff, which includes Chet Fletcher, the only returning member of the coaching staff that won the top coaching group in the league last season. New coach of the offense, Bob McMahon. New coach of the defense, Sean Ferris. And it looks like we're set to go. As crouching in for the face-off, Jamie McMahon will go alongside, Drew Barfoot. Pushed ahead, big battle here for it, and diving Barfoot will lift it back into his own zone. And Lachlan Elder, the former Burlington Chief, there to send the first possession the way of the North Stars. They're wearing orange jerseys, black lettering, white shoulders, working left to right here in period number one on the visitors' bench. And the block there, stepping up on defense, Stephen Lee. And now he heads up the floor as it's turned over. Brett Olbickus, wearing an A this year, was cutting towards the net, but the ball slips back up top to the captain, Gage Board. He goes to the wall. Only 4 players on this Oakville roster listed as offensive players, all looking for the top corner. Cree Blakely, reigning Rookie of the Year in Ontario Series of Lacrosse. And talking to him before the season as we watch Owen Sound come in, Robbie Milnes tries to go back up top, and that pass off the stick of Mike McLeod. On the run, Sawyer Howell. He's pushed outside. This is an Oakville team that likes to run. And here is Cree Blakely, as we said, talking to him in one of their practices early on this season. You'll notice no Brandon Slade, no Dan Craig, as they saw a full season with the Toronto Rock. Not listed on their roster, expected to be full-time with the Oakville Rock this season. And the Rookie of the Year from last year should get more touches as a result. Over the top, on the run, the shot, Wendy, the save, it's rolling in, picked off the line by Gage Board. As Craig Wendy, early test here in the first period. First of 3 20-minute periods for those of you still in winter ball mode. We are back into summer set of rules as, through the legs as Matthew Lee cuts across the front of the crease. Lee, another one of those players who saw time in the NLL as a result of playing through the winter, and a good season here with Oakville Titans last year. Along with Craig Wendy getting that look, as we said, the backup netminder now in Georgia with the Swarm. Big tie-up up top as a couple bodies go down, but the ball still in the stick of Brendan Walsh on the far side, and just one shot still through 3 minutes of our opening period. This Oakville defense, again, led by Sean Ferris this year, smothering Owen Sound so far. Although to counter that, Oakville only with 2 shots as both teams start to settle in here. Blakely looking to put it into the corner. Errant briefly, but now picked back up. Oakville in their white with double blue trim. Bunch of space for Nolan Apers, and I think it surprised him how much time he had as he then let one fly. It ticks off the netminder, Ryan Oldreeve. And that could be high, and it's not, as right in front of Kevin Wareski, he lets it go. Picked out of the corner, down to the crease, and Blakely cutting through, and they just can't connect. Rebound picked up by Oakville, though, as the shot clock down to 5 seconds. A long-range bouncer there, Eddie Renault. This one's going to go the length of the floor, and it'll be a shot clock violation as Oakville on the change. Cam Mancini had thoughts of bombing that one back into the offensive zone. But with the shot clock sounding, that would have been a delay of game penalty. Shot over a couple bodies and off the pipe, Colin Maudsley. They continue to fight over this rebound. Low bridge collision there with Brady Hesseltine as it ends up coming back in. No over and back here in summer ball unless you're killing a penalty. So as Wendy comes to corral it, the shot clock continues to tick down to 15 seconds. Here's Matty Lee off the bench. Has help on his right side. It's John St. John. Johnny will slow things down. Normally wears number 7 does John St. John as he stands up, and over top of him and Dean Nixon, a stare down between those two. They will go their separate ways. It's Jamie McMahon, the assistant captain, wearing number 7 as John St. John gets double 7. As a hit up top has Owen Sound upset. They won't like the save from Wendy either. And then in typical Craig Wendy fashion, quickly to his feet and right up to center, where it will be played by Jamie McMahon, another member of this leadership group. As we said, wearing the assistant captain's A this year. Spinning off one check is Cree Blakely. Now collides with another as the ball comes up top, and a shot and a soak from the defender who then puts on the Jets is Kevin Coulson. Will he get there? He's run over. And again, the arms of the officials stay down as Nolan Apers went right over top of the defender. 6 minutes gone in our opening period. As backing in and then over the shoulder, no look bouncer from Brady Hesseltine. Not really sure what to call that as it bounces up into the owner's box here at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. Matthew Lee back the other way for Oakville, though. As it's in the corner. Dancing back, Cam Mancini, another shot and another save there from Oldreeve. Again, early goings in the season so far. Sees the Six Nations Rivermen atop the standings with 2 wins after their victory last night in Ennismore. And if I'm not mistaken, it's a rematch between those two teams tonight at the Gaylord Palace Arena. A shot off the defender, up and out of play. It'll be a reset here for Owen Sound. As over the top, a bit of a shove there for Zach Thompson as his shot bounces off the backboards and laid dormant in front of the crease. 3 Oakville defenders went after the man. No one took the ball. And the North Stars will get another possession out of it. Big hit on the near boards as Colin Maudsley goes back after Alec Tamas. Tamas, one of 5 junior graduates on this team this year, 97s. Alec Tamas of the St. Catharines Athletics. A trip there on Sawyer Howell. I think they just got their feet tangled up. Did him and Spencer Elder, Sawyer Howell, also one of those graduates coming out of the Mimico Mountaineers Junior A system. Another shot from Blakely. Again, seeing a lot of number 9 so far. And so far, it's Ryan Oldreef stopping the door, as well as Craig Wendy as he collapses over that shot right in front of the booster section. Number of minor players in attendance tonight, as players wearing minor jerseys got in for free. You saw them right off the top forming the welcome tunnel. As the bounce shot on the run, underhand by Eddie Renault. He'll get the first marker of the season and score here. Put the Oakville Titans on top. Eddie Renault, big fake as he comes across the defender. Oldreef goes with him, and that opens the far side. And the Titans will take a 1-0 lead here on the goal by Eddie Renault. Renault from Gage Board and Braden Wallace. 8 minutes and 13 seconds into our first period, and goaltenders calling for a water break there in top right of your screen. Blair Ferguson in conversation with, I'm not sure if it's somebody on the bench. Have we got somebody cut? Or an illegal helmet, perhaps? Matthew Lee wearing the Rochester Nighthawks bucket. They've pulled him off to the side and doing some repair work there, as early on Chris Kluczynski called into action. Another low shot here as Stephen Lee, Burlington Chiefs graduate from last season. That big body who was part of that right-handed attack that includes Ryan Lanchbury and many others last season. They were absolutely deadly. Have been for the last couple seasons, of course, losing Chris Bushi, one of the AP affiliates here in Oakville, along with the Oakville Rock, as we've seen a couple of their players move up to the big boy team as well. Bouncer to the far side. Initially got away from Brett Clofer, who then corrals it. Big shot coming here, and Wendy there to meet it off the stick of Brendan Welsh. Quickly recovered. And Lee rolled it kind of nonchalantly over to the far side, and the North Stars nearly able to recover it back. As we approach the halfway mark of this first period. 1-0 the score for the Titans. As a sidearm shot around a defender from the far side, Nolan Apers. Really the only lefty so far to get anything going, besides the goal from Eddie Renault that saw him come all the way over to the right side of the floor to score it. So we'll see if there's any adjustment for Bob McMahon. This shot from distance. Wendy all over that to make the save. They fight over the rebound in the corner before it ends up in the stick of Cam Mancini, and he'll jog it across the center line. That was the 7th shot on goal, at least by the count here in-house. to 9 of the Titans. That's number 10, as it's another bouncer that gets into the midsection of Ryan Oldreeve. Oh, nearly had a big collision there, as racing off the bench. I want to say that's Sawyer Howell. I see the number 2, but maybe a little undersized to be Sawyer Howell. As on the run, over top of Ben Mercy, who was the player we were trying to identify, as Brady Hesseltine will tie it up. Right at the tail end here, we're going to be able to admire this shot, as I think that fools Wendy as it changed directions and just beat him 5-hole as he came back just a little too far. Brett Clofer and Brendan Welsh on the assists on the tying goal off the stick of Brady Hesseltine. A 1-1 score. And a pretty good conversation on the procedure on this draw, as Drew Barfoot loses it there and then forced outside. Nicely done by Lachlan Elder. Speaking of former Burlington Chiefs, Lachlan and Spencer Elder, 2 Elder brothers. Up top for Creed Blakely, 1-on-1. Blakely trying to go off the check, turns back and reaches in front of Oldreeve. And Blakely will collide with I believe that's Zach Thompson, the North Star player, looking for that loose ball. No reset, it's late here. Titans will get an extra couple seconds. As coming off the bench is Alec Tamas, and Oakville will get a bit of a change here. They'll go to the far side. Stutter step move from Wallace. His shot partially blocked. It sails high. Lands in the corner. Comes back. Ryan Johnston not able to pick it up. And then a big collision and a tie up there as Tamas involved in a shoving battle. And then Ryan Johnston and Tyler Gibbons meet head to head. This is Johnston here. Johnston will get a pick from Tamas. A pretty big one as well. And handball being called against Owen Sound. I wondered if we may have got a moving screen, as Tamas was still fired up from whatever that was here on the near side against the boards, as he collides once again with his counterpart. And another pick, again trying to release Johnston, as it's played here for Nolan Apers far side. Apers, now Stephen Lee. They get it back to Johnston again. Under 10 on the shot clock, though. 6, now 5. Tamas with space and couldn't come up with it cleanly. And the North Stars will be off to the races. Lachlan Elder, 3-on-2. Owen Sound in the pass into the corner off the end of the stick as it rolls away from A.J. Skirving. Could have been their best opportunity of the night, including the one they scored on for Owen Sound. 3-on-2, but the pass to the left of Wendy bounces off the stick of Skirving. But then Oakville put it out of play, so the North Stars still with it. This high shot partially deflected by Kyle Stavely, one of 2 Orangeville Northmen graduates joining the Titans this year. Stavely and Ben Mercy, as we mentioned earlier. Those 2, Sawyer Howell of Mimico, Alec Tamas of St. Catharines, and Mason Noble, the only Junior B graduate on the team this year of the Elora Mohawks, the national champion, Founders Cup winning Elora Mohawks. And what a Founders Cup Mason Noble had, as Creed Blakely will spin back. His shot attempt stripped from behind there by Kurt Gibbons. And ball down, North Stars pick up. They'll get it as far as center. On his horse, getting back Brendan Wallace. Put a cap on the graduate situation. I neglected to mention Stephen Lee of Burlington. Quick restart here out of the crease on the loose ball after the crease violation. Here is Lee, and his shot running out of time and space. as Miller Rushbridge was quickly coming in. Over the top here, John St. John. Now a hidden ball play with Johnston. Johnston will get it here. They continue to attack St. John up top, and Johnston, what a rip. To get it past Oldreef and regain the lead for the Oakville Titans. A lot of space here. You see a couple picks in front and over top of the crowd, Johnston. That's just a great snipe right there. To return the lead to the Oakville Titans. They lead 2-1 on their 13th shot. Renault with his second point, missed the first assist. But Eddie Renault with a goal and an assist now. Off the two Titans goals, a couple big chops far side. Brett Olbickus at the hands of Skirving. And we near the final 5 minutes. Again, 20-minute periods here in Ontario Series Lacrosse. And yes, that is the new name, new brand. Who dis for this level of overage competition in Ontario. Players are 22 and older. Once they pass junior, they've done away with the senior model. They've done away with the B moniker as well. And a bit of shoving back and forth between Tamas and I believe Brendan Walsh on the far side will give us our first penalty of the game. And I think it's going to be Brendan Walsh for a high stick, which those of you still in summer mode, winter mode will notice. It is a 2-minute minor as opposed to the automatic 5 that you would get in NLL or other winter competition. See a number of kids taking off to get in position as they'll participate on the floor here at Intermission. One of the perks of coming to an Oakville Titans game, they'll have a couple weeks off before hosting the KW Velocity right here on May the 26th at 7 p.m. Of course, we'll be in the house. We hope you will as well here at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. As this is the first of season-long coverage. Down the floor, off the rebound, and the shot by Lachlan Elder over top of the net of Craig Wendy off the glass. And what a move there. Oh boy, Miller Rushbridge, that was looking pretty. But Craig Wendy had other thoughts. Had somebody ask in the chat, yes, this is what used to be called Ontario Senior B. As you've said a couple times now, going with the title Ontario Series Lacrosse. Not to be confused with Major Series Lacrosse, where you'll see most of your favorite NLL players, although some of them have elected to stay closer to home and have a better weekend schedule over the past few seasons here at this level. But to each his own. Nearly picked off. Stepping up there, Stephen Lee went for the interception. Just bounced off his stick, so the clock continues to tick down. And killing off a penalty, as we said, over and back. It's the face-off restraining line. Not half either. And Lachlan Elder kind of wandering around there. He'll get a word from Keith Peer, coach and general manager of the Owen Sound North Stars, as well as Scotty Comer. What a flip pass here. This is going to spring another breakaway. This time Drew Quinlan has the shot saved off the right leg of Wendy. 2 shorthanded breakouts for the Owen Sound North Stars on this penalty kill. And we still remain a 2-1 lead for the Oakville Titans. Here's Johnston. He has one of the 2 Titans goals, along with Eddie Renault. Down in the corner for Blakely. Creed Blakely, big collision there. No moving call, and a goal for Cree Blakely. Big pick from Cam Mancini. I thought for sure we were going to get a call there. But Blakely, the beneficiary, as it's now 3-1 in favor of the Owen Sound North Stars. And with that, Ryan Oldreef to the left of your screen has asked for some tape. There's a look at Craig Wendy, reigning series MVP, making his way back to the net. So Mancini does pick up an assist, adding insult to injury on that pretty healthy pick. That results in the 3-1 lead for the Oakville Titans here at home. But it's a face-off win for the North Stars, who answer back. Robbie Milnes into the corner, up for Spencer Elder, quickly getting the left side involved. I believe all five have touched it. Man all alone on the crease. And Zach Thompson's sidearm shot goes wide. Alec Tamas right over top of his man, and a big-time pile up here. Official will step in. He had a delayed penalty before that, as Tamas and Brady Hesseltine work themselves free of each other, and another high sticking call. And I believe it'll be Alec Tamas. Seen him get excited a few times already in this game, early on in his career. His post-junior career that has so far lasted all of 18 minutes and 30 seconds. But the first penalty of the Oakville Titans season is a high sticking call. As this will bounce in the corner for Zach Thompson, who gets the reset. And now the power play of the North Stars going to work. Hesseltine shot up top, and Wendy the save. Another 30. As Hesseltine will quarterback here, and now a low attempt by Brendan Welsh. Wendy looking for one, sneaking out, and it'll be off the bench for John St. John to catch the shot. And the save by Oldreef, as we're into the final minute of play here in the first period. 50 seconds remaining. As there's about 16 seconds between the game clock and the penalty clock. As Wendy, the catch right on the foot. He wasn't sure where it was, I don't think, and just hung on to make sure it didn't trickle over the line, as we saw it get close to doing that earlier on in the period. Final 28 seconds now. Extra 6 on the game clock over the shot clock, so Wendy will stay where he is. Both teams have 2 timeouts they can use throughout the game, only 1 per period, if they so choose. Here's John St. John all alone. The shot there with 10 left, and the North Stars don't elect to take a timeout. Wondering if they were going to was Quinlan, as he looks back. Now rushes the floor, and Wendy down, and he'll collapse over top of the ball in the crease with a half second left. That will effectively take us to our first intermission. What a first period, though. Some fast-paced action, and we'll see this early on in the season if these players can keep this pace up the entire way, as the Oakville Titans in their first game at home trying to defend their Ontario championship. Lead 3-1. You're watching Oakville Titans Ontario Series Lacrosse action on the JVI Sports Network. 10-minute timeout, and we'll be back to the Toronto Rock Athletic Center in Oakville. We welcome you back inside the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. You saw some of the minor players from Oakville and surrounding areas. We've got some Hamilton, we've got some Burlington Chiefs in the building today. They got their chance to take to the floor at intermission. A couple mini games happening. And they'll, I believe, take their shot at the radar gun during the second intermission as well. So, lot happening here at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center in the home opener of the 2019 season for the Oakville Titans. As we get a look at their bench there, and the Owen Sound North Stars. Eddie Renaud opened the scoring in this one before Brady Hesseltine tied it up. And then goals to end the period from Cree Blakely and Ryan Johnston have us at a 3-1 lead for the Oakville Titans, who will be shorthanded for 16 seconds, just waiting for the officials to get back on the floor, which they have now done. Kevin Werbeski and Blair Ferguson. Alec Tamas remains in the box for a high stick as we get set to go for this second period. Teams have switched sides, and the Oakville Titans, a violation on the faceoff, gives Jamie McMahon possession as the Titans go left to right here in this second period. Tamas is now out of the box. As we said, Ryan Oldreef remains in net, as does Craig Wendy. Down to our left. Under 10 on the shot clock here for the Titans. In behind the net. Now pass back out in front, well off the mark. As it'll be intercepted, here is the captain, Tyler Gibbons. Bringing it up and over center. Brady Hesseltine will come to a stop out of the corner, turning, shooting, and Robbie Milnes stopped there by Wendy. Milnes will get his own rebound, though, and a fresh 30. Milne up top. Oh, looked like the 5-hole was open there for Wendy, but he closes the legs and stops Brett Clofer, who then turns and pretty heavily collides with Kyle Stavely after Stavely had released the ball. Titans, though, keep the play alive as they're up in the attacking zone now. Eddie Renaud. Renaud, a big stop there. Oh, defender goes down and a moving screen called. I thought he just lost his footing, but that makes up for the last one. Perhaps the officials discussed it in the locker room during their break as well. The one that ended up on the board off the stick of Cree Blakely. Ball down, picked up on the run, and Ben Mercy all the way down the floor on his wrong side, though, looking for help. And all he sees are orange jerseys, so he'll turn it back and let the offensive players work out the front door, if you can call them that, on this Oakville Titans team. Definitely more offensive players listed than defensive, and definitely more transition players listed than any of that. Ball getting away from Matthew Lee, and now Gibbons again. Off the bench with speed, the shot there. I think it hit the crossbar as shoved through the paint was Zach Thompson. Now back the other way, here's the Titans from the half wall. Long way from home in the offensive zones here, though, or defensively, I should say. So a bit late developing the change here, but definitely suiting teams in transition. Oh my, what a shot from Eddie Renaud. Just skips through off the post and in. Eddie Renaud, his second of the game. This is a thing of beauty. Follow this ball as it comes through. We'll even roll that back for you. Past the foot, off the post. Oh, there is no room there as it goes in. Eddie Renaud with the snipe. His second, and the Oakville Titans' fourth. John St. John and Cree Blakely on the assists. 3 points on the day now for Eddie Renault. As we get a chopping match happening right here in the face-off circle, and it doesn't look like anything more than that will occur, as Tyler Gibbons and Braden Wallace will go off. Offsetting, I believe. 2 each for slashing will be the call. And both of those go up on the board. An interesting talking point last night in the comparison between summer rules and what the NLL does in the winter, as those would offset and they would have to serve full 2 plus a dead ball. So I have seen guys serve 8-minute slashing minors in the past. Of course, normally 2, but waiting for that dead ball, which doesn't happen in the game of lacrosse. But extra penalties in the summer, we've seen even here on JVI last weekend, as Matthew Lee picks it up, Renault making the bid for the hat trick, and Oldreve gets the body in front, as Matthew Lee will be called for the crease. Junior B action earlier in the week here on JVI Sports Network, featuring the Brampton Excelsiors and the Halton Hills Bulldogs. Stack penalty situations with more than 2 on the board. Ball bouncing in between the legs of Wendy, and he dives over top of it and keeps it from going over the line. A few anxious moments in the crease of Craig Wendy. And I was told, I can't say by who, but at some point tonight I had to call him Wendy the Tendy. So there it is. That's the one. John St. John looking for the over-the-shoulder pass, I believe intended for Nolan Apers. It almost evenly split him and Cree Blakely, but went right to a North Stars player, so they'll get 30-second call here. Drew Quinlan, his one-handed pass hooked a little bit, intended for Hesseltine, who then postures up, shoots, and scores, and gets one back for the North Stars. I believe this is the second of the game for Hesseltine. Really a nothing play as it just gets started. A bit of a stutter step, and then that 1-foot jump shot that we're starting to see creep into the box game from the outdoors. Quinlan, the lone assist, it sounds like, on Hesseltine's goal. He has both of them now for Owen Sound, as that comes as we're still 4-on-4. Still for another 12 seconds, which is the same amount of time on the shot clock. We've played just about 5 here in the second frame. Second of 3 20-minute periods. Again, for those of you still in winter mode, now the penalty box doors open. Alec Tamas will spin away from the top defender, Brett Olbickus. Had to turn his hands a bit backwards there to get it to John St. John. Bounces in front, and just before the sandwich hit, Matthew Lee getting the shot. Not a lot on it, though, so Oldreve able to make the save. Bomb down the floor. Nick Quaid finds his man off the bench. Quaid headed off now, as it's in the stick of Brendan Welsh. Welsh dancing around. Here's McLeod. All the way around the horn to the far half wall. McLeod will now head off as a long-range shot finds its way to Wendy. And he's quickly up to his feet, up the floor. John St. John off the bench, the shot, and the save made there by Oldreve again. In talking to some of the Titans players again in those interview session we did at one of their practices, I believe it was Scott Johnston commenting on the transition game of Craig Wendy and how that really leads what they do. Now 4 North Star players in on Brendan Wallace, who's been a bit feisty here in the second period, and this may have drawn him a penalty. Not sure who his counterpart's going to be going off as things start to get a little spicy inside the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. He'll go off alongside Colin Maudsley, which gives us a chance to shout out those who are watching at the Pump and Patio in Oakville. New sponsor of the Oakville Titans and the official post-game party destination of the Oakville Titans. Join the Titans at the Pump and Patio in Oakville after every home game. As you understand, they'll be showing some of our games on the big screen there as well. So a big shout out to everyone there, and stop by for some refreshments after each game. You can hang out with the players and the great folks at the Pump and Patio. Another 4-on-4 as a shot down the pipe. Wendy, again the save, and man, the recovery to get to his feet is impressive, and it leads to a 3-on-1 rush for the Titans. Here's the shot. Cree Blakely off the crossbar. That one heads up and into the stands. Brett Clough for the shot, and before that, Wendy down almost, I would say, lacrosse butterfly style. I don't know that that's a thing, but quickly to his feet and bombing it down the floor. It helps to have high ceilings here. We'll see what happens when they get in an arena like Gaylord Palace or Evinrude up in Ennismore. As diving through, and it'll be a slashing call negated. But what a goal for the Titans there, as I believe it's Cree Blakely with his second. Out of the corner, eats a slash there. It's going to be the hold, I believe. And they're saying he may have touched in the crease. Oh, I think that's, oh yeah, that's definitely okay. From Cree Blakely, who gives the lead now, makes it 5-2 in favor of the Oakville Titans with 13 minutes remaining here in our second period. Face-off win this time for Drew Barfoot. Nolan Apers picking up an assist for his first point of the game. Johnson also on the goal for his third point, including a goal and 2 assists. Shot from well outside. Wendy, another save. Held on for the reset that time, electing not to get up for gauge board immediately. As, oh my, Brett Olbickus with the rip. And another long-range shot that beats Oldreeve. You can see he's set, but the top corner wide open. And Brett Olbickus finds it. And the Titans starting to get on a run here as they lead 6-2. Well, they give the assist to Apers. I think Wendy gets gypped. I was pretty sure it came from him, as coming down Zach Thompson. I knew that was going to happen at some point in this game. Shout out Zach Tompkinson. Goodness. Off the left arm of Wendy. 3-on-3 basically here, as one guy aside in the box and one guy aside hanging out down in the Oakville attacking zone. And quickly now, running up through traffic on the run, gauge board. Titans have found their play. 7-2 as the transition wheels are starting to come out. And the scoring chops following closely behind. And the North Stars are going to burn their second period timeout. Just straight down the pipe and straight past Oldreeve there for the goal for the captain. That's 7 on the board now As the North Stars call timeout, we see Keith Peer on the front row trying to get everybody back on the same page. A bit of a breather as well. And perhaps a breather more for Oldreeve than anybody. Again, their backup today to Scotty Comer, who I was going to say I don't see him on the bench, but he's standing. You can see him at the back there in front of the coaching staff with the uppers off. I believe last year, if not the year before, an assistant coach with the Brampton Excelsior, so maybe playing a bit of a role of player and coach here. This Owen Sound team. As we're back to live action at the face-off dot. Stephen Lee crouching in and a dive forward there by Barfoot, trying to push it forward, and I thought he went well over top, but Lockton Elder still manages to come away with it. We are 5-on-5, despite what you see on your screen. Again, two players hanging out well down the floor to our right as the Titans look for that outlet in transition. Owen Sound went through the crease. They wanted the quick reset. About half a second too short to capitalize on the man down the floor as Wallace gets it in the attacking zone. St. John, Blakely to Matty Lee. Matthew Lee will go one-on-one here as he collides with A.J. Skirving. Shot low and nearly 5-hole on Oldreeve as Braden Wallace, making a bid for his first of the game. Nearing the halfway point of today's matchup. The 29th shot on goal and the 30th, both saved by Craig Wendy. I don't think they're going to get credit for the second one. As working out the shot, it gets through him. The 30th does find its way in. And it's Zach Thompson, the beneficiary of a quick rebound and a walk around the crease. Looks like here the Oakville Titans tried to defend the dunk shot, which is not legal in... I was going to double check that before we got going here today, but pretty sure the dunk shot not legal here in OLA competition. But as we said, so with extra winter leagues at this level starting to pop up besides the NLL and using the same rules, some players are still in that mindset and need to adjust. Looked like the Titans did there, and it resulted in a goal, the third of the game for the North Stars. Still a 4-goal lead, though, for the home side. Wallace again tied up. Again, the ball sneaks free, and it's Kyle Stavely going to lead the rush this time. In the stick of old Bickus. Excuse me, that was Eddie Renault, not Stavely up on the rush. This ball works its way to Creed. Blakely on the far side. Blakely takes a couple hacks. Back up for John St. John off the stick in the middle of Matthew Lee. And down, John St. John on his horse trying to catch up to Miller Rushbridge. And he got there in time to take the play away. Rushbridge will head off the floor, and man, you can see John St. John gasping out there at the top of this set. And he meets the shooter right away. And waving at it, John St. John needs to get off the floor, I would think. But he's going to stay out and take it up over center again. John St. John asking for help, gets a pick, and rips it top corner. Oh, what a shift for John St. John. Head down, full sprint back for a good defensive play. Thought for sure he was going to head off, but then takes it up the floor. And again, before the defense can get set, before Oldreeve perhaps can get set, a screen. Oh, that's a beauty find in the top corner there for a very tired John St. John, who will get a well-deserved breather over on the Oakville Titans bench. 9 minutes left to play here in the second period. Apers and Blakely picking up assists. Nolan Apers coming to play here in this period, as this is a loose ball just outside the crease. Pile up on the expressway as well. It will be Owen Sound ball. It'll be the captain, Gibbons. Towards center floor. And now pass for Brendan Welsh. Welsh in the middle, waiting for the defender to clear out. Was Hesseltine making a bid for his hat trick, and not to be as it sails high and into the screen. 8 minutes left, board, far side. John St. John wants it. Johnny cuts to the middle, puts a little twist at the end of that shot, and it bounces into the corner. Here's Cree Blakely now. Blakely all alone in the middle. The shot, sidearm from Apers. All of those points, none of them a goal so far, as he was looking to erase that. Ryan Oldreeve with other thoughts. Now the other 11, Colin Maudsley back the other way, also goalless in this game. Craig Wendy, though, turning him aside. Back in the corner. Big posture there, and collision as Spencer Elder came in and took down the Oakville defender with too much to give them the ball. Ben Heidecker had thoughts of heading down the floor. Saw a wall of orange and then stopped. Cree Blakely lost the ball, brought it back to himself. Nearly a great play. But Tyler Gibbons on his feet with both hands on his stick. There to corral it. Big hit in on the boards. And the North Star bench not happy with the interference call there, or excuse me, not happy with the non-penalty call, I should say. As Colin Maudsley will get out there again. A shot hit off a stick and bounced easily in on Wendy as he gets it back up the floor again. Here's Sawyer Howell. Howell will wait for the change to get started. Now John St. John. Matthew Lee. Over far side there, Johnston. Pick from Blakely, he rolls to the net and his shot wide. 5 on the shot clock, and 2 members of Owen Sound break out. Shot clock resets early, it looked like, as faking the pass, taking the shot, Drew Quinlan, and Craig Wendy with the save. North Stars now leading in the shot department, 34-33, but it's the Titans with a 5-goal advantage on the part of the board where it counts, as we've got 6 minutes left in this second period of a scheduled 3. Olbeck is far side. Johnston all alone. Now facing 2 North Stars. Oldreeve the save. It goes up into the screen, so Titans ball again with a fresh 30. St. John. Again cutting around. A lot of running here today for St. John as he goes up top and gets rid of it to Johnston. Johnston to Lee. Now St. John again. And Johnston. And Lee. His bouncer. Ooh. My goodness. Skips off the carpet over the shoulder of Oldreeve and into the top corner. Man. And we'll get a goalie water break, which gives us a chance to slow this one right down. Oh, the action on the bouncer from Matthew Lee. As it comes in again, just outside the fan, about halfway through, and it bounces right up and into the top corner. And it won't be a goalie water break. It'll actually be Scotty Comer coming in.
Assist number 44, Ryan Johnston. And number 77,
John St. John, Ryan Johnston on the assists on the goal that spells the end of the night for Ryan Oldreive. He allows 9 goals off 35 shots as the Titans lead 9-3, and the veteran Scotty Comer now taking his place between the pipes in the net to our right. Under 5 to play here in the second. As Oldreive, we saw him back in the crease a lot more. Comer playing a much higher off the line style. We'll see that should take care of a lot of those outside shots that the Titans have been putting in here this afternoon. But as this shot comes in on Wendy, he wanted that ball to get the crease violation, I think, but on a bounce, he'll get it down the floor straight to Mason Noble. What a play by Wendy. Now we'll see if the Titans adjust to the different goaltender style of Scotty Comer. Bit taller than netminder as well. As John St. John spins and fires off the end boards, it bounces straight out into the stick of Brendan Welsh. Welsh gets towards the crease, had to wait for the stick check there of a racing Ben Heidecker. And I think the footsteps forced him in a decision he didn't want to make, put a twist on the end of the shot, and it ended up bouncing wide. And it is another Titans possession. Lee tied up in the middle, wanted a call. There's not one coming. As a shot, Eddie Renault, the changeup in on Comer. As Comer tries the sidearm down the floor. I think if they connect, Ken Coulson has running room, but hooked a little bit there on Comer as Coulson plays it off the glass. Off the bench now. Mike McLeod in towards the pile, and with 5 on the shot clock, you could just see all the Titans collapse on that ball as it got under 10, trying the desperation shot out of the corner. Was the Owen Sound forward. I believe that was Coulson. But it will be a shot clock violation. It will be Titans ball. And we've got 2.5 to play in the second, with Oakville leading by 6. From the corner, St. John to Matty Lee. And it took Matty Lee a bit to adjust to that. And that allowed Comer enough time to get over and make the save as the rebound bounces over the screen, and a bunch of the minor players racing for it. And, oh, that youngster's got 2 here tonight. Had a chance to be part of the victory tunnel as the players made their way onto the floor, as Comer gets it up to center. Had a chance to play on the turf here at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center in the first intermission. So good night to be a minor player in the Oakville area. 2-minute warning here inside the Toronto Rock Athletic Center as Brendan Welsh got as far as the crease and decided to get it back up to Hesseltine. Hesseltine to the crease, his shot. Oh, changed direction after the bounce. But well wide already. Remember, Owen Sound has already taken a timeout in this period as they tried to settle things down and negate an Oakville run. Matthew Lee, him and Cree Blakely both went for that pass, and Matthew Lee gets tackled as he went for the return. And Lee, an extra shot there. Matthew Lee still. And Matthew Lee, Dean Nixon goes after him, and Dixon's going to get the only penalty out of this. Matthew Lee was fired up as he was taken down to the turf. And I didn't quite see who he was matched up with. But it was Nixon who waited for Matthew Lee to get there. And over on the bench of the Titans, you can see the clipboard is out. For the offenses, they'll be on the power play, 55 seconds remaining. And they break the huddle already. Wendy had to go ahead. Short hop there for Lee. Apers, St. John, Lee into the corner, Cree Blakely. St. John back to Apers again in the middle. Renault, duck fake, trying to go back up top again. And Renault hit after the fact. Blakely scores at the end of the shot clock. And Matthew Lee again stirring up trouble. And at the end of this, Matthew Lee is going to go to the box. After the goal by the Titans, the 10th of the night. 24 seconds remaining in the period. As this starts behind the plate, keep your eye in front. Matthew Lee getting worked over. Keep your eye on the shot clock. Oh, I don't know here. We just lost the shot clock at the end. Coming into frame here. 1 on the clock as that one goes in. Wow. Apers and Renault assist on the hat-trick goal by Cree Blakely. 10-3 Oakville. And offsetting slashing minors that will carry over into the third period. The Titans putting a run together here in the second. This is normally where they start to pull away. Oh, over the shoulder, and Wendy with a save, and then there's that difference in the crease rules from winter to summer, and it bites the North Stars there. But speaking of biting, the Oakville Titans taking a chunk out of the North Stars and their momentum here. In the second period, the home side leading 10-3 in the home opener of the Oakville Titans, the first game of this season, as the JVI Sports Network presents season-long coverage of Oakville Titans Ontario Series Lacrosse. We'll take a 10-minute break and be back with more action from the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. Teams are back out here for the third and final scheduled period here at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. A huge second for the Oakville Titans as they now have a 10-3 lead. Scotty Comer remaining in net for the Owen Sound North Stars. Down to our left, and it looks like Wendy may be the first goaltender tested here as he remains in net, as you would expect. Allowing only 3 goals so far off 36 shots. And again, on a plane tomorrow to Georgia to play for the Georgia Swarm, his NLL team, as the backup netminder there in the playoff game against the Toronto Rock. There's the save, and all the way down the floor, and the shot, and a wide one, forcing Comer to look over his shoulder, but Brett Olbickus making a bid for his second of the game. Another save for Wendy. Rebound rolls out for Stephen Lee. Again, offsetting penalties still in the box for the next 35 seconds as we've played a minute here of 20. As we go back to summer ball rules, John St. John tries to shoot through a crowd that hit a couple potties before rolling well wide of the net and picked up out of the corner. Colin Maudsley off the bench. Maudsley will sidestep his way towards the fan, but no further. A pick takes care of Alec Tamas, and now the roll back to the crease. 10 on the shot clock as Gage Board thwarted that attempt. Now a long-range shot wide of the mark off the end boards. And Wendy from the crease to corral it. Couple weeks on the road for the Oakville Titans before they return back to the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. It'll be May the 26th, a 7 p.m. start Sunday nights here at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center for Oakville as this ball goes up and out of play. The KW Velocity. The Oakville bench sounded like they wanted a too many men call there against the North Stars. None upcoming, however, as we have gone back to 5-on-5. The offsetting slashing minors from the end of that second period have now expired, as had 2.5 minutes of the period. Trying the behind the back bounce shot was John St. John late in the shot clock. Drew Quinlan will pick up the rebound loose ball and reset it for the North Stars. Bit of time taking for them to get up over center. And down to a knee was Mason Noble. Again, could have made a case for a moving screen on the far side, but the officials letting him go here today. Noble weighing his options, and I think he makes the right choice. Passing to the bench as reigning Rookie of the Year for Ontario Series Lacrosse, Cree Blakely takes it out of the corner. Again, this Oakville Titans team this season will be without 2 of their top players from last year, at least 2 in Brandon Slade and Dan Craig, who, again, are expecting to be full-time members of the Oakville Rock of Major Series Lacrosse this season after full seasons in the NLL with the Toronto Rock. Tie up here along the boards, and double team for the Titans ends up stripping the ball. They had a brief 3-on-1, but here come reinforcements streaming off the visitors' bench. And Ben Mercy will pull it back out of harm's way as one high forechecker, it's Gibbons, nearly put the ball carrier back in his own bench as this one skips along the base of the boards, forcing Comer out of the crease. Much like the start of the first period, I know we've gone back to the same floor configuration with Owen Sound going left to right and Titans going right to left, but both teams trying to settle in here in the third after the Titans ran tracks in the carpet in that second all over Owen Sound. Here they come on a rush here. Oh, big soak in the middle as Drew Barfoot then had thoughts of headed down the floor. He gets to the bench. About 3 people asked if he's okay, and he said yes and just takes his spot back in line. Out to the crease, turning and firing, and it's taken a while, but Eddie Renault finally has the hat trick completed. Eddie Renault, everybody just kind of runs past him there in the middle of the set, and he finds himself right on the doorstep for his 3rd of the game. Wallace and Gage Board on the assists. Seven runners tonight for the Titans. They do have a full lineup without points. Most of them defensive players, and some names we haven't called yet tonight. As a couple nifty moves there from Olbickus to get past a defender. He runs straight up the middle of the floor. And again, a couple times, that was the play in that second period, ending up chasing Ryan Oldreive from the Owen Sound net. He allowed 9 goals off 35 shots. Comer now with 2 off 6. That in the 6th shot that he's faced in roughly 10 minutes of work. Little over 10 minutes of work, I think. Came on with 5 minutes and 2 seconds remaining in that second period. Math was never my strong suit. As we try and do it on the fly here. It's a wide shot, big slash in behind. Mason Noble goes down. Mason Noble looking like he was going to chop back to Colin Maudsley. Meanwhile, turnover back the other way as here comes Owen Sound. Ken Coulson back up to center, and as the camera shifts to the right, keep your eye on the right side of your screen, as that's where Mason Noble and Colin Maudsley are matched up. And that is the matchup as they go to the crease. Taking flight was Robbie Milnes, and taking flight a little too tight to the blue crease, and it's a 2-goal swing there back the other way as Gage Board in transition will get his 2nd of the game. As Owen Sound looked like they were more interested in arguing that play, and a lot of numbers quickly headed back up the floor. Ben Heidecker was one of those players without a point, and looked like number 6 there leading that rush. We'll see the official word. Well, they give it to Wendy and Ben Mercy. Either way, Mercy was one of those players without a point as well. So that number now down to 6 runners without a point if you give it to Heidecker or Mercy. Of course, our replay clearly showed anyways that Heidecker fed that forward. Nobody wanting this ball here in the offensive zone for the Titans, who now lead 12-3 on Owen Sound. It bounce is here for Johnston. Thought about passing and then took a shot from his wrong side. Comer with the save as it'll be jogged up and over center. And the stick of Lachlan Elder, he lets one fly. Wendy will save that. Rebound picked up by Braden Wallace. From Wallace to Cree Blakely, a hat trick in this game. Him along with Eddie Renault. Gage Board now sitting on 2. We'll see if he can get a hat trick. Wendy with a couple assists. As Blakely has it, the quick stick down into the corner and a quick release. And it's been some time there for Nolan Apers trying to get on the board after 4 assists in the second period. And Apers finally takes care of the 0 he had. And this is just a beautiful quick stick pass down to the crease. Good job defending the pick and roll but not a whole lot that Scotty Comer can do there as Nolan Apers gets himself on the board. How about a 6-point evening for Cree Blakely now? 3 points, 3 assists we've got him for. Nolan Apers next with 5 after that goal. And as we said, 4 assists in that middle frame. 11 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here in the third. The next shot for Owen Sound will be their 40th, with only 3 of them managing to get behind Craig Wendy. Spin move from the crease. Oh, Wendy, what a save. And picked out of the crease there. This is beautiful from Craig Wendy. How many times have we seen that over the last couple seasons? It was indeed the 40th shot. It was not the 4th goal as Craig Wendy over to his left, putting the glove in front of it. And that is a great save here in getting pretty close to what would be, you would effectively call garbage time in this game with 11 minutes left and now a 10-goal lead. Give another save there for Scotty Comer off of Cree Blakely, who hasn't slowed up very much despite scoring his hat trick earlier on. Low shot there by Brett Clofer off the end boards, and the race is on. Gage Board leading it as Robbie Milnes tried to get there first. Milnes and Board, and back out in front. The shot there by Mercy. Oh man, that put Scotty Comer all out of sorts. He ended up just flopping on top to make sure the ball stopped moving. And the Titans remained at 13 goals. 4 allowed now for Scotty Comer. 14 shots as a low shot there on the run. The goal by Brendan Welsh. That's just kind of a weird one there, it looks like. As he got through a couple legs, and Wendy on the move, and it gets through Welsh. Hesseltine and Spencer Elder. Hesseltine 3 points tonight off the 4 goals that have been scored by the Owen Sound North Stars off of 42 shots. Someone in the chat asking if the Mimico Mountaineers are still around. I feel like I should probably answer that. Yes, they are. Couple former Mountaineers playing in this game, as we've already mentioned. Here's one of them, Matthew Lee. And Sawyer Howell for Oakville, number 42. Shot there, and it goes high from Matthew Lee. Man, he's been feisty here tonight. Matthew Lee will pick up the goal as they sort this all out. See if there's any penalties as a result. Keep your eye right to the top of the fan there. Oh, it's Alec Tamas again, who then gets buried there by Drew Quinlan. So I think Quinlan's going to go off. We'll see if someone else does. No, they don't. So it'll be power play here for the Oakville Titans. Second of the game for Matty Lee. On the 50th shot of the game for the Oakville Titans.
Oakville Titans goal scored by number 14, Matt Lee. Assist number 9, Alex Hannah. And number 77, John St. John.
First point of the game for Alec Tamas. I think that takes them down to 5. We'll try and do a quick count here. Yes, it does. It looks like 5 runners out of the 18 on the bench of the Oakville Titans now without points in the game, including Mason Noble, Ben Mercy, or Ben Heidecker, one of those two, depending on if you trust our replay or the officials who gave an assist. As this bounce shot will steer wide. Kyle Stavely, Stephen Lee, and Sawyer Howell yet to get on the score sheet here in this game. Even Craig Wendy, the netminder, with points tonight. 2 assists that we've got him for up in the booth. Oh my goodness, look at the ball movement here. It ends with a shot from Cree Blakely, who then got filled in after the fact. But my goodness, the setup there. Bob McMahon has been working with these boys through practice. Follow the bouncing ball for sure for the second time on the power play. Bit of a fake shot there from Matthew Lee. Fake pass, I should say, as his shot bounces off Comer to Cree Blakely. Now a different look. Even again, as Nolan Apers goes to the middle, he'll take the bottom spot on the crease. As quick stick over for Cree Blakely, and Comer, what a save as he had to come to his right. I think Apers thought he was in the crease as he postured up. Didn't want to touch that ball just in case, but a good power play for the Titans, even though they don't come away with a goal, as there's 10 seconds remaining on the penalty to Drew Quinlan. About to go back 5-on-5 as it's a 10-goal lead for the Titans with 7 minutes remaining in regulation time here in the home opener for the Oakville Titans. And a moving screen in front, a little too aggressive from Spencer Elder, as Ben Mercy tries to snake his way through a crowd. Up here for Johnston. Ryan Johnston. John St. John on a bounce to the far side. This is Eddie Renault. Goes over top of the defender. As ball down here picked up by Cree Blakely. Oh, bit of a cheeky little shot there from Nolan Apers. Gets past everyone and skipped off the post. Apers for St. John. Back for Johnston. 15 on the clock is Johnston. Trying to open space for him is Blakely, who then takes it, and the save made by the left arm of Scotty Comer. John St. John, a parting shot there for Quinlan, who runs away with the ball. And something to say to him was Dean Nixon. As here's Quinlan. Quinlan and Tamas matched up at the restraining line. Keep your eye on them as they've had something to say to each other all game long. And the ball will bounce to Tamas. Quinlan had turned and gone to the bench as Tamas will feed the trailer. It's Jamie McMahon who will stop up. Tamas in front now, getting worked over right at the top of the fan. A lone Oakville Titan in the middle of the set. Now Gage Board will join him as John St. John passes to the far side. Back it comes again to McMahon. McMahon, Tamas, lots of room, and down early was Comer, but such a big upper body took most of the net and the save. Tamas takes another hard shot as it looked like him and Kurt Gibbons had words with each other. As here's McMahon. Thought about going to Tamas. He was tied up. No surprise, I would think, as Gage Board with it again. 10 on the shot clock from the far side, and Kurt Gibbons just broke his stick over the arm of Alec Tamas, and as he goes off, Gage Board will capitalize with the goal. And the remnants of the stick of Kurt Gibbons all over the floor as him and Robbie Milnes had their hands full with Alec Tamas, who absolutely would not get out of the way. It would not back down in on that set.
Titans goal scored by number 21, Gage Board. Assist number 9, Cree Blakely. And number 16, Eddie Renault.
Board from Blakely and Eddie Renault, who picks up his 6 point, 7 for Cree Blakely, leading all runners. As it's down in the corner for Zach Thompson. Thompson to the crease, to the top corner. This is a beautiful goal from Spencer Elder. Beautiful team goal as we're going to watch the passing here from the North Stars, who put it together starting out of the corner. 10-goal game with 4.5 left to play, but as it starts out of the corner, beautiful pass coming from Maudsley and Thompson. Thompson, Elder, Welsh, and Brady Hesseltine, the only goal scorers, as we start to track who hasn't scored for the Titans or picked up an assist. Pretty easy to track on the side of Owen Sound. This is the captain just near center, over to the far side. Thought there was going to be a rip of a shot, but Brendan Welsh getting close to the crease of Craig Wendy, and on a dime for Ben Mercy, a nice pickup. Mercy will play all the way back to Jamie McMahon at his own restraining line. As now Johnston to the far side. No sense of urgency for John St. John as Matthew Lee directs traffic. And Johnston will just dump it into the corner. As the hands team will be out here for Oakville pretty much the remainder of the way, as Frank Lachowski and his squad looks like they're going to move up, I believe, to a 2-1 record. Lacrosse Shift is where Ontario Series lacrosse stats will be this year. Taking a little bit to get going, however, in that department, but a win here today for Oakville over the Owen Sound North Stars, and then facing the KW Velocity in a couple weeks' time here on the May long weekend. Shot over the shoulder. Matthew Lee pulling out the trick shots now. In on Comer. Comer's following him with the face mask. I'm not sure if there's any words being exchanged. Got Matthew Lee up over center. As the ball to the far side, that was 60 shots on the day for the Oakville Titans. And it looked like perhaps another stumble there for Brady Hesseltine, and a trip will be called against Cam Mancini. I was about to say he'll finish the day without a point, but he did get an assist earlier. So he goes off for 2, and one thing that we can say about this Owen Sound North Star team, or I guess it's more about the Oakville team, Owen Sound's power play had not seen a lot of time here in this game. As Craig Wendy had taken the opportunity to go get a drink. Again, if you're in the Oakville area and haven't had dinner yet, or want to hang out with some of the players or Oakville Titans staff, Oakville Pump and Patio is the place to be after game days for the Titans. Wide open here, and it does get in behind Craig Wendy after he made the first save on the loose ball. Another one bouncing through the crease of Wendy. As the first save, but then well out of position. He tried to make another one, and boy, wouldn't that have been spectacular had it played out, but instead, the 6th goal of the game for Owen Sound. Welsh and Hesseltine on the assists on the goal by Colin Maudsley. The power play marker. 4 points for Hesseltine off 6 goals for the North Stars. Eddie Renault mugged in the corner, comes away with the ball and sends it all the way back up top for Jamie McMahon. And as we said, hands team ragtime for the Titans as they look to tie a bow on their home opener, which saw the banner go up earlier on in the week. You may have seen in our opener, if you haven't yet, Oakville _ Titans on social media, a good picture of it. And they wanted to send their thanks to Jamie Dalek. Oakville Titans very much not permanent residents of this building here, but this has been their home, as it's very much the Toronto Rock Center and Oakville Rock. But very appreciative of allowing the banner to be hung here and play home games out of the Toronto Rock Athletic Center as well. Into the final minute now of the home opener for the Oakville Titans. Many of the minor players have already left after it's been a good night for them. Good night for the home side as well, who put up 15 goals against the Owen Sound North Stars and 60 shots as we're down to about the final 30 seconds. A tie up in front and a ball rolled into the corner. Tamas takes a huge shot. Mike McLeod. Kevin Werbeski says, "You're going." He turned around and said, "For what?" It was for the cross check to the back of the head of Alec Tamas, I would think. They call it interference. And I think that it's probably the last time Tamas touches the floor tonight, perhaps for his own safety, if nothing else, as he is somewhat not surprisingly been stirring up a lot of trouble on the floor tonight. Another tie up here to our left on the restraining line as Tyler Gibbons and I believe Eddie Renault, bit of a cross-check battle right at the restraining line, and sounds like Gibbons said, "You said you would go." So I'm not sure what that's all about. About 14 seconds now. And I've talked to different officials and different commissioners. Some people would just say, run this out. You can't actually do that unless both coaches agree. But the officials trying to sort it out here as we'll now play 4-on-3. The Titans are quite content to just hold it out as they have been for the last about 3 minutes or so, as they will come away with an 11-goal victory. Ball taken all the way down into the corner. And the Titans will salute goaltender Craig Wendy, who, as we said, will leave here, get a good night's sleep, and play in the NLL playoffs tomorrow as a goaltender with the Georgia Swarm. They face the Toronto Rock in playoff action, a Monday nighter. Your weekend of lacrosse is not yet finished, but we are finished here at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. One of the best traditions, I would say, in lacrosse is the handshake line between these two teams who battle to a 15-6 Oakville Titans victory. Our producer and director tonight has been Gary Morrison. On behalf of him and our entire JVI Sports Network crew, I'm Matthew Carrick. This has been the first installment of what's going to be season-long coverage of Oakville Titans Ontario Series Lacrosse from the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. Good night, everyone, and we'll talk to you in about 3 weeks' time.